And why do you support Trump?
A few reasons. He's tough on the border and illegal immigrants, which I think is a no-brainer. Uh, he's anti-trans delusion, and he's just like a smart person in general.
Okay. A few things. It's not delusional to be trans. There's nothing like incorrect about trans identity. So the idea that you say it's delusional is not based in reality. Based on
I'll
the way that
disagree
we're.
with that.
Do you think names are a delusion?
Names?
Yeah.
No, but I think it's a delusion to think you're not the gender
No, no,
that
but
you
like,
were born
well, no,
as.
you're no. When we're using the term gender, we're using it sociological in nature. When we're referencing this, it's based upon your commitments towards a certain set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with a certain sex as a prescription of identity. Now, that's specifically what we mean in terms of gender in this context. We're not referencing someone's biology. So then, my point here would be, in the same way that we use names, because names are socially constructed as well, right? Do you think names are like delusional because there's nothing in your biology that identifies your name?
I would say names are not delusional, but I do think
Why?
gender is a useless
Do you think it's
concept.
okay to change your name?
Sure.
I mean, okay, so then I'm confused. Why do you have such an issue specifically with gender, but not specifically with names?
Because if you look at names, I think that that's just like a false like comparison. Like you're talking about because historically, men and women has been for as far as we know, like tens of thousands of years, been like meant to identify our sex, and now all of a sudden this made up concept of gender comes along, and it kind of like blurs, what even is gender or sex. People are just getting confused.
One, you're not really saying why you think there's a confusion or why you think there's delusion. You didn't really base that position there.
I think because if you look at the mental illness rate, it's just like super high, and if you look at Reddit, there's people every day that come out and detransition and just admit to how deluded they
The
are.
likelihood of detransition is extremely low. You know that, right?
Well, if you look at
It's
r
way less than
slash dtrans,
1%. So if you
well,
want to
do you
look
think the
space for,
statistics are reporting Reddit? And if you go on Reddit, you see posts every day. So I don't think you're acknowledging those into
bro,
the
you saying there
statistics.
are Reddit posts is not evidence that like most people specifically who are trans are detransitioning. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
Also,
that
again,
is
in
evidence
terms
that
of
a
in
lot
terms.
of people
Well,
are
by the way,
detransitioning. Yeah.
let me keep addressing this. Reddit is not a source. Secondly, let me address this in terms of
Reddit is actually a better
kind of.
source because it offers
I would love. No, it's not
private
for not. It's not
accounts.
specifically for determining what percent of the population this is applicable to. To say that there are some people in which it's applicable to, yes, you could say that. It could be evidence that there are some people that detransition, but it's not evidence that a certain
Sure.
percentage of the population detransitions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would agree that yeah, it's not a you
Okay.
can't tell how many are yeah.
No, no, no. Now, if you want to reference specifically again this, you have no basis for saying that it's delusional just based upon it being socially determined, because then you're saying names are delusional to have. Okay, that's not very smart for you to
I think that's
say.
a false
Uh,
dichotomy. Names and gender comparison. That's not a real comparison.
what do you mean? Why not? What's why not?
It's just like two different topics: names and gender.
Okay, saying they're two different things is not evidence that they aren't comparable within the fact that they're both socially constructed norms. Why is one
Sure,
socially
but
constructed norm totally valid, but the other one isn't?
one of the name is not based on any sort of previous concepts because gender
What?
is
What do you
kind
mean
of
by
based
previous concepts? What does that mean?
because names are just like names are not based on anything because you have gender, right?
Names are
Gender
based
is
on
kind of
things. Names
based
have
on
meaning.
sex.
Wait. That's just wrong. Some names have meaning. Some names have cultural influence. Some names have they're like just based on what people like. For example, JD Vance. That's not the name he was born with. Okay, so people can change their names because the name that they associated with it prior, they had some sort of trauma associated with it, which is totally valid to change your name in that context. And I think it's valid, and we should call JD Vance by JD Vance, right? So in that same way, explain to me why you think that that's explain to me why you think that that's valid.
I think that's what I'm saying is it's a false dichotomy because the concept of gender is based on another concept of sex because gender is, as you have
Based on doesn't mean it's the same. Do you think that gender and sex are the same?
no, I don't think it's the same, but it's based on a previous concept because you can as gender, you can identify as man and woman, the same sexes that are already conceptualized in this
Hey,
concept,
I just want to let you know all definitions are based upon previous words, like or they use other words to define this. I don't know what your point
But
is.
not names. The names are made up from scratch. Gender is based on a previous concept, so it's not a comparable thing. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, I again, you say it's not comparable. It's comparable within the way that I was comparing it because they're both socially constructed norms. Why is one socially constructed norm valid but not the other?
I'm saying they're not comparable because they're two different things, whereas
Okay,
gender
that
is
is what is a comparison? You compare two separate things, correct? Saying they're two different things is not a manner in which you cannot compare them. Do you know what a comparison is in the first place?
yes. I'm
Okay,
saying that's
in
a
order to
false
compare
dichotomy.
something, you have to be
Saying
referencing two separate things.
yes, but you're trying to allude the two separate things because you're saying they have similarities in
Yeah,
that
and it's
you
similar
can
within the respect that
change.
they're both socially constructed norms. So why is one socially
Yes, but I'm
constructed norm
saying
valid but not the other?
that similarity, just because there's that one similarity, doesn't mean it's comparable.
Okay, that's the that it's so I'm comparing in that one similarity. That's what I'm comparing. So you disagree that it is similar within that context and that it is comparable within that context. Thank you very much.
No, I disagree
Now,
that it is.
now
I
let's
disagree that it's comparable.
okay. Well, you didn't even actually like you said that they were similar within that respect. So you didn't make any sense there. But
No, I
let's go back to the
disagree. I
other.
said
Let's go
yes,
back to
they're
the
similar in one way, but
yeah. So if they're similar in the
they're
way that I'm
similar in one way.
comparing
That
it,
doesn't
then
mean they're
it
comparable.
wait. If they're similar within the way that I'm comparing it, then they are comparable.
They're no, if they're similar in one way, that doesn't mean they're comparable in general. For the point that you're trying to make.
It is because I'm basing it on that one thing. What are you saying? You were yapping,
So
bro. You just don't want to address what I'm saying.
I am addressing it. You're trying to compare gender to names, but I'm saying that's not comparable. You
Yeah,
said they're
why is it
comparable
not
because of
comparable?
one
Like I've asked you
similarity.
multiple times, just because they're both socially constructed norms. I'm comparing within the idea that they're both socially constructed norms. What about them being socially constructed norms means that one is valid and the other one's invalid?
You're saying names are socially constructed norms?
Yes.
How are names norms? They're identifiers.
Yeah, and that's a norm we have for social communication.
A name is not a norm. A name is an identifier. That
An
doesn't make sense what you just
having
said
an
right there.
identifier is a norm, a social norm that we have in communication with
Sure.
each other in society. Oh my god. I don't even think I can
Sure.
have
So
this conversation with you, genuinely. I don't know if I
you're
can.
saying because they're social norms are comparable. A lot of things are social norms. Do you think we can compare
Yeah,
everything
they're
to
comparable within the idea that they're social
gender?
norms. So explain how they're not comparable within the idea that I'm
A lot
referencing
of
to
things are
demonstrate.
social norms.
Okay, this guy just, we're not even having a conversation back and forth, dude. I'm asking you why it's valid and invalid, and you're saying, oh, you just can't compare them. You just can't compare them.
No,
I just think you just can't
you're the
compare
one.
them.
I'm saying it's
I
invalid to
swear you just
compare
can't compare them.
names to. You're literally comparing names to gender. That's a low IQ comparison.
No, you're just an idiot. I'm sorry. Like I have explained it to you multiple times
No,
at this point.
you're comparing names to gender.
I'm
That's
comparing within the
two
respect
different
of,
concepts.
dude, a comparison, you have two different concepts all the time, and you're comparing those, but you're comparing a certain aspect of them.
Sure, you can't compare those two concepts because they're not alike enough.
Okay,
Sure, they're
in what
both
way? In what way are they not alike insofar as that I cannot make the comparison?
because gender is based on a previously established concept such as sex, where in gender you can identify as another sex may commonly socially identify, such as a man.
So
But
no, no,
names, on the other hand, are
they're not
scratch. They're
identifying
made
as
up
the
from
other
scratch.
sex. So when someone's specifically saying they have a certain gender, they're not identifying as the other sex. They're identifying with the
Or they're
norms as
identifying with the norms of that
they're
sex.
identifying the
Yes, that's
norms
what.
associated with the sex. Similarly, if we're talking about names, you identify with certain norms about identification. That's not different within the idea that
Names are
you're.
not identifying with
That's
norms.
not different based
Names are not
upon the.
identifying with
That's
norms.
not different based upon the idea that you have identifications or commitments towards a certain set of norms to be like identified based upon. In the same way, that's literally the exact same thing.
No, there's no set of norms you identify with when you have a different name. You
Yes,
can't
you are.
compare it.
That is a different norm that you're identifying with, a different name, a different set of identification.
Is there a set? Is there a set of societal norms you identify with when you choose a name, Bob versus Jack versus some, if
Yeah, those are
versus like
those are
male versus
different words.
female?
Those are different
There's a big
identifiers.
difference.
Those are different identifiers. Yes.
Yeah, so they're different identifiers. So you're saying just because they're both identifiers, we can compare them.
Yeah, they're both social
Okay.
identifiers. So they're comparable within the idea of their social identifiers. You're saying that because we use a social identifier for gender, that it's not like going to be valid or it's delusional, which is just one, insane to say. And two, I can give so many examples of Donald Trump literally being delusional. One, he thinks the 2020 election was stolen and he thinks that it was rigged. Two, we can point to the idea that he thinks the climate's going to start cooling and that science just doesn't know it yet. Three, he thinks that windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. Four, he thinks that if you stand on top of a boat and there's a battery underwater, that you're going to get electrocuted.
Yeah, I do agree. There's a lot of like bizarre points Donald Trump makes, but I think at the end of the day, he's like an 80-year-old. He sees some shit on like TikTok or like Facebook. He's like, oh, okay, that must be right. But I think that's just like an old person problem. But I think if
No,
Joe Biden
that
was
was
on
that was
social
not
media
true
enough,
with
he would
Joe
do that
Biden.
too.
Even Joe Biden didn't even say shit like that. You can't even give me one
If he was on
example.
there, Joe Biden does probably doesn't have free reign to Twitter, bro.
What are you talking about, dude? Joe Biden. Okay, you saying Joe Biden? No, again, if you want to reference Joe Biden, he doesn't say vastly insane shit like that, like purposefully and intentfully. Donald Trump was saying those things intentfully
I
because he's
think,
that much of an idiot.
yeah. Well, I think Trump said it intentionally, yes, but did he believe it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
he
mean,
literally does. I'll
that's
play the clips. Do you want to hear the clips?
yeah, and I think he believed it too. But what I'm trying to say is he
Okay, well then you
believed
agree
it
with me.
because he was in the
Insane.
misinformation and shit on the
Yeah,
internet.
I
He's an
agree.
old
So,
man, you
so
know.
he's subject to misinformation. Can you give me one time Joe Biden did that?
Well, I think Joe Biden, yeah, I think he hasn't done that. I can name countless times he's mumbled like random nonsense.
Like accidentally? Give me something he
Yeah,
intentfully
like
did.
he talked about he's like, did you hear the clip? He's like talking about his hairy legs to like some kids.
That's not like incoherent.
No,
And by
that
the way, that's not like
he
a
was
belief that
literally
he
like
had
going
that's
on
like
a
a
tangent.
conspiracy or based on no evidence. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay,
You're trying
yeah,
to say
I
that's
agree.
weird.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, Joe Biden doesn't say like conspiracies that Trump to the level that
Yeah, he
Trump
doesn't say
says, but I
conspiracy
think
bull that has delusion. It's delusional. Like, you have to
yeah,
admit,
yeah,
Donald Trump, the four things I brought
definitely.
up with Donald Trump, those are delusional points to believe. Okay? So, like, the idea that
Yeah.
you're trying to act like it's trans people when one, you had no basis for that is crazy, especially when you support a guy that's straight up delusional. And then you called this guy smart? He said the climate's going to start
I know I do
cooling.
have basis for this
He said the
trans. If you
climate is
go
going to
on
start.
Reddit,
Wait, listen, let me please finish. He said the
yeah,
climate's going
yeah.
to start. He said the climate's going to start cooling, and that science just doesn't know it yet. And you said that he's smart. That is the same evidence as believing the Earth is flat. It's
I think he
objectively
falls.
verifiably false.
Yeah, I think he falls for a lot of misinformation, like a lot of old people and dumb people do.
So he's not smart.
No, I mean he falls for misinformation like a lot of old people do, but
So do
he
you
is
agree he's not
smart in the
smart?
way of like business sense and like street smart.
How so? Can you give me an example? It's the six bankruptcies. How is he street smart?
Well, the bankruptcies actually point to being well, not the bankruptcies. Yeah, the bankruptcies actually do point to him being smart because smart people take risks. That's how you become successful.
Can you name one
That's how
smart?
he's a billionaire.
Yeah, can you name one smart business person that has six bankruptcies other than Trump?
No, I actually don't look into
So he's
bankruptcies
the
that much. It
only
would be odd
smart
if I
business
could name
person with
that.
six bankruptcies.
I
But yet
mean,
he specifically gets
you miss
taken
100%
over
of the
by
shots you don't take.
misinformation bullshit claims.
Yeah, I mean, when I said he was smart, I meant like street smart, business
In what way is
savvy.
he quote unquote street smart?
By street smart, I mean, socially, uh, you could say he is just like intelligent, I
In what
guess.
way? In what way?
he can make like logical decisions that
Really?
benefit him.
Logical
Yes.
decisions that benefit him socially. Like what? Cheating on every single one of his wives?
I mean,
The hush money, the
like
falsification of
becoming a
business records,
billionaire.
the evasion of taxes,
I think
the saying he
evading
needs the
taxes is actually
12,000
smart.
votes
Yeah. Becoming a billionaire.
because he inherited $400 million from his dad. Yeah, if I inherited $400 million from my dad, I'd be a billionaire too, buddy.
I mean, we don't know.
If you put $400 million in the S&P 500, you'd be a billionaire, bro. Thank you for the C2. I appreciate level ship.
I mean, that's true, but that's assuming you would put all of it in there. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't think it was 400 million though.
it
The real
was.
amounts were like I think it was closer to like 100 million.
It was 400 million accounting for inflation.
Okay. But yeah, so my basis for you said I had no basis for the
I
transgender
can't believe that he's
delusion.
become a billionaire when he inherited $400 million from his daddy. He must be an incredible businessman.
Yeah, I mean
He's really smart. He's the smartest businessman we'd ever had run. He's socially
that's like a
incredibly
10x right
intelligent.
there.
He has the highest level of emotional intelligence you've ever seen.
So you said I had no basis for the trans delusion thing. If you actually go to reddit.com
Wait, what?
slash
Nice
r
pivot. Nice
slash
pivot, by the way. Do you want to address what I just said? We were talking about him being smart, right? Pursuit of the Galaxy.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was addressing what you said before, but then you cut me off because you said you wanted to finish your point. But yes, I'll address this first, sure.
He's obsessed with
So
Reddit,
yes, when I
everyone.
say he's smart, yes,
R/Trump
there's
supporter.
when I say he's smart, yeah, he's business savvy, yeah.
Okay, again, is bankrupting a casino business savvy?
Uh,
Really
yes,
business
if
savvy. Yeah,
you
he's
consider
he's so good with his money. He bankrupted a casino. I tell you, the
yeah, if you
biggest, the
consider all his
biggest, the
other
biggest
properties
wins
that
you've
have
ever
been
seen. I
bankrupt,
promise you that. Okay,
it is impressive.
it's impressive that he bankrupted a casino. You know, I agree. That's pretty impressive,
Yeah,
but not in the way that
yeah,
you
if you
think
look at his
so.
other properties. Like if you look at how many bankrupted versus how many are successful,
How many were successful?
a greater amount than the ones he bankrupted.
Well, I mean, is it typical for people who have like billions of dollars to have six bankruptcies? Could you name a single person with billions of dollars that has six bankruptcies?
I can't. I mean, maybe I could if I like looked it up.
Interesting. And I don't think that would be a good representation on behalf of Trump. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like he's such a great businessman. He should be president of the United States or that he's smart. Come on, bro. Um, Come on, give me actual, like, where's his emotional intelligence? Tell us about that.
It's just like a subjective thing. If you watch his like long speeches, his just like the way he talks, the speed at which he talks, like
The
the
speed at
way
which
he's
he talks.
able to like respond to questions and think
Uh
of
huh.
answers, like
Uh
just
huh.
like it's like a in person thing.
Really, like the way he's able to like respond to questions.
What was the first part of your question?
Is there a specific time frame you expect the detainees to spend here? Days, weeks, months?
In Florida?
Yes, here at
I'm gonna
Alligator
spend, I'm gonna
Alcatraz.
spend a lot. Look, this is my home state. I love it. I love your government. I love all the people around. These are all friends of mine. They know them very well. I mean, I'm not surprised that they do so well. They're great people. Ron has been a friend of mine for a long time. I feel very comfortable in the state. I'll spend a lot of time here. I want to, for 4 years, I've got to be in Washington, and I'm okay with it because I love the White House. I even fix up the little Oval Office. I make it, it's like a diamond. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It wasn't maintained properly, I will tell you that. But even when it wasn't, it was still the Oval Office, so it meant a lot. But I'll spend as much time as I can here. You know, my vacation is generally here because it's convenient. I live in Palm Beach. It's my home. And I have a very nice little place, nice little cottage to stay at, right? But we have a lot of fun, and I'm a big contributor to Florida. Pay a lot of tax, and a lot of people move from New York, and I don't know what New York is going to do. A lot of people moved to Florida from New York, and it was for a lot of reasons, but one of them was taxes. The taxes are so high in New York, they're leaving. I don't know.
Can you tell me what the question was?
I honestly don't remember.
How long are detainees going to expect to stay in Alligator Alcatraz? And he clearly, he's the greatest. He's so intelligent. He's so great at responding to questions like you've never seen before, I tell you. I tell you that he responds with such great intellectual basis to his positions. And everything that he has to say, he really gets directly to the question that's asked, I tell you that. The best words, bigger words, better words than you've ever seen before, I promise you.
Yeah, that's a straw man.
How is that a straw man?
You're using one clip to say he's not intelligent or whatever.
Would you like me to provide other clips? I got you. I got you with more clips. Would you like to hear them?
It's still a straw man, even if it's like
no. Wait, hold up. Come on. Come on.
Like,
I have more clips. Come on, dude. What do you mean? You just said it's just one clip, so I got you. Don't worry. Listen.
But you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than hitting a whale with your boat. There has only been, listen to this, one such whale killed off the coast of South Carolina in the last 50 years. But on the other hand, their windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. Nobody does anything about that. They're washing up on shore. I saw it this weekend. 3 of them came up. You wouldn't see it once a year. Now they're coming up on a weekly basis. The windmills are driving them crazy.
Yeah, that's still a straw man. If you were actually...
That's still a straw man. Every clip that shows that Trump is incoherent and gibberish is a straw man.